When I was growing up, people used to say, photo no dey lie. I don't know what if you know what that means. It means pictures don't lie. Because our photographs, they are the true representation of what picture is taken. If you lie like that, they take you that way, and that's going to be appear. And you don't even say, oh, this is not beautiful, because that's just representing you. And if they can't get you in any situation, we still say, no, pictures don't lie. They just tell us the reality. That's when I was growing up. Of course, you and I know that has changed today, and then you can barely tell what is true and what is false. Technology, right? We can Photoshop, we can video shop, we can do anything. They can put your head on somebody's head and put a lot of things, put you where you are not. Again, how does this actually still affect us? And that's where we're going to be talking about the issue of social media today. My name is Josiah Segunjobi, Reverend Father, and I'm welcoming you to Catholic Broadcasting Ministry, Capuchin Television, and to this program, taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. So, last week we were talking about the telecommunication, and we focused more on the issue of the devices, all the equipments. Like I was talking about the mask, I was talking about the cell phone, but these are about the materials that we use, and we're just talking about the radiation and how the radiations actually affect our body, cells, and of all the tissues in our body, and how they can actually cause some kind of things for us. This time we'll be looking at the social media, which are of course social media generally, and then we'll be looking at how they also impact our health in different ways. So when we talk about that, what is social media in the first place? It is a computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and of course information through the building of a visual networks and communities. And of course through that we also talk today, now we have a global village, because once something happens in one place, you already know. Unlike before, you have to wait a long time before you get information. Your relative may even die, you don't even hear about it. But today, things happen, you get to know it, and guess what? Bad news moves faster. So by design, social media is internet based, and of course it gives us the quick electronic communication of content, and of course even within the context of whatever we are talking about. And of course, when we talk about the social media, we talk about social communication, which refers to the emergence of verbal and non-verbal skills, social interactions, and social cognition. But in this sense, over the internet, by means of your computer, or you're using your phone and whatever you're using to get that. So social communication behavior includes understanding and of course using appropriate facial expressions, eye contact, and the body language. I remember I was with some of my students yesterday, we were in a class yesterday evening on the visual class, and I was saying, please switch on your videos. This is visual. We're supposed to see each other, to see the expression on our faces, which is very important. And for those of us who do that, we would like to switch off your video when you're in a visual class. That's not right. It's called visual class. So you are not, it's not supposed to be audio that I'm just hearing. I'm supposed to see you, they're supposed to see me, and that actually make the communication more effective and of course more understanding, because the expression that whoever is speaking is giving has a lot to tell to the information that is being given. So social media has become widely used by individuals, and we know that businesses, they stay connected through social media, especially during this COVID-19. We now appreciate social media more, because people are even abandoning their offices to say, why do I need the office when I can stay in my house and do everything that I need to do over the internet? And of course, as these sites evolve and they become a prevalent way of reaching to consumers, healthcare professionals, in the educational setup, even in the church, Many people are so comfortable now, worshiping over there, looking at their TV and say the Lord be with you, and say and also with your spirit, and do spiritual communion. All those things are changing our world as we have it today. So what we are saying in essence is that social media is very important in our life of today, in this present age. It has helped us to build relationship, and I can bet you there are people that are met over the social media and they are married today, and they have a very happy and perfect marriage. Don't get it wrong. And of course we have those who don't have that. But of course, again, we have people who share their expertise. That's where you want to advertise who you are, what you do. And you see a lot of people being very creative and posting a lot of things on the social media and different type of it, whatever apps you are using, whether it's Facebook, whatever, it's becoming very, very great opportunity for people to actually share how intelligent and of course how creative they can be in there. Of course, you share your expertise, and of course it has increased your visibility. Many people do not know you, and then they begin to know that somebody like you is existing somewhere, and the people are actually craving for having many followers, maybe on the Twitter, or you're having on the Instagram, or kind of a thing. You want to like my followers, and you are bragging over that number of people. It made you very visible, so you show yourself, you disguise and do whatever you want to do there. That's one of the things that it does. And of course, it helps you to educate yourself, because you can actually go to school on the social, this kind of internet things. And of course, because there are many information out there, you pick them, you get yourself educated. And of course, you stay connected any day, any time, any moment, day or night. And of course, not just being educating yourself, you also use the opportunity to educate others. We are still using part of it to still talk about what we are talking about right now, and that is part of what we're saying, to share the ideas and of course share information. You can go through a lot of training program, even online, and guess what, in the next 10 years it will be amazing what kind of number of schools you're going to be having online. There are already, but they will flock. There will be many schools being open online, and then you don't even see the need to go to classroom, physical classroom, to do anything anymore, as the way we are going. And of course, it keeps you busy. When you are idle, you're on your phone. When you are lonely, you're on your phone. When it keeps you very busy, because of course you are connecting to the virtual world. And of course, there are those who have video games, or the computer games or your phone games that are visual reality in such a way that you create another world entirely that is not real, but that's where you are living in. And guess what? People actually spend a hell of money to even sustain that kind of a virtual communities. Of course, you can make money. You can make money. Put all your businesses there. Even the fact that you are helping people to actually do a lot of things on social media can actually earn your fortune. And that is what social media is for us. However, it's also impacting us in different ways. But before we go into the way it impacts us, I want us to actually check, look at yourself, and of course the social media that you have, whichever one you are using, and then how are you using them, and of course what benefit are they also giving to you too. Because I know that, and I don't really like to encourage people to do this, but you see, like people, when they are hurt, maybe your husband is hurting you, or your wife is hurting you, or whatever is happening, you don't know how to express yourself to your spouse, and they go on social media. That's where they start writing different kind of things for people to see. So you don't want to do that as well. You can confront the person, actually talk to the person, but we see that this thing has become part of our life so much. But as much as they have come into our life also, we know that where those are the good parts that we are using them, they have a lot of negativity, and of course we can get kind of a negative vibes or emotions from them as well. And don't forget about that too. We'll be talking about that when we come back after break. But what I want us to just think about right now, or to be aware of, is the fact that yes, not everything that is good that is profitable, and not everything that we think is profitable that is very good. So the truth of it is that while all these things are there for us to use to make life, to keep us busy, to do this, to do that, to even prosper us, we still have to know that information needs to be shared with responsibility, with integrity and responsibility. You have to watch and to be careful of what you put on the social media. You have to look at the language you use on the social media. You have to look at the way you react on the social media. You have to look at what you do to people on the social media. And of course, a lot of people have disguised themselves, and they are seriously using it as a way to just to commit crimes. And a lot of things have been done today. People disguising to be somebody else and kind of a thing, and we do all those. You don't want to do that. We need to be more, mindful and to be persons of integrity when we use that. Again, we watch the information. And for those of us who are also always on the internet, on the phone, and they're trying to pick different information, you have to know also which information you are picking. Not, I beg you, not everything you see there is good. Not every information you read is true. People can give you a lot of things that you have no idea what they're telling you, and you are just reading and believe. And I used to tell my students this, and I'm going to tell all of you, the greatest mistake a student will make is to have absolute trust in the teacher. I repeat, the greatest mistake a student will make is to actually have absolute trust in the teacher, because once a teacher makes mistakes, you start making the same mistake. If he teaches you wrong thing, you start teaching somebody else's wrong thing. And that is why you know that when you are actually interacting with information on the social media, once you just think everything is there, that it is true, I'll be talking about that later, then you know that you are on the path to something else. And that is why you need to also pay attention to yourself, to always engage your brain too. Can this be true? It is not wrong to question things. Question those information and see. When we come back, we have seen the positive side that can actually make us feel good. Sometimes you really know this information, but when we come back, we look at the other side of the social media. Till then, stay tuned.
The Psychospiritual Therapy Institute, which we of the Luke Stera Leadership Foundation, in collaboration with Miss Joachim, have set up, is a project that I am very excited about, and I am very happy that I am part of the birthing of this project. It is aimed at healing of pastoral agents that run into problem on account of widespread trauma, on account of burnout, on account of addictions, and all kinds of problems that pastoral agents do have. But with this project of the Psychospiritual Institute, we shall now be training experts in psychospiritual therapy who will be available in various countries, various dioceses and congregations to help their colleagues who are in difficult life situations of an emotional and psychological nature.
dear friends, welcome back. And today's program on the Capuchin TV, and then of course this program taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. My name was again Father Joseph House, anyway. And then of course we've been talking about the issue of social media and how they impact our lives, of course impact our health. We'll be just talking about the good part of it, and I ended on the note that we need to be careful about the information we get on the social media, because a lot of information can be there that they are not too good. And when we are talking about the other impact, we're talking about, we'll be focusing more on how this information impacts us. But before that, there are also negative aspects of social media. One thing is that inadequacy about your life and appearance, because you see people on the social media, the way they dress, they give you the kind of a fake impression about the people, and sometimes you want to be like them. You begin to look at yourself whether you are actually okay or not. So you we call it, you live a fake life, and of course you want to actually model yourself after those fake life. That's not a good part. You should have your own self-worth. Whether you are tall, short, fat, thin, doesn't matter. You are who you are, and if you appreciate yourself, you'll be happy, because your happiness does not come from what you read outside of you. Happiness does not come from what is in your environment. Your happiness comes from within you, your interpretation of your environment. So it gives people inadequacy about their life and their appearance. Of course, there's sometimes people have what they call FOMO. Do you know what they call FOMO? FOMO. That means fear of missing out. That when they are not on the social media, they feel, I am not there. I need to be there. I need to say this. And you don't have to do what you're not really, And because remember, being on social media can waste a hell of your time. You know that what time you could have spent doing something tangible, something meaningful, something productive, something useful. You just get there and you're just laughing and laughing. But you see, you have just left your work on the table and you are busy on your phone, or you're in the hospital setting, you're supposed to be treating your patient and you're busy on your phone, and whatever you're supposed to do, cell phone, of course social media also can take that a hell of your time out of your life. You don't have to do that. It actually makes people to feel isolated sometimes. Isolation in terms of that you're among the people. You can see sometimes you go to the restaurant and you see families sitting down together, and then everybody is busy on the phone. You go into you enter the train and see everybody's on the phone. The next person, you can't even say hi, you can talk. Your family, you see husband and wife, they still feel isolated. They are together, but they are both busy on the phone. This one is facing left talking to somebody, the other one is talking right and facing somebody, and they are laughing with those people, but they can't laugh with the person that is sitting down right beside them. No, you don't want to get into that. That's one of the effects, negative effects in particular of the social media. Of course, it can actually, I'm going to be talking about this more later, I hope I have time, but it can actually lead you into depression or anxiety. And especially the kind of information you actually read or you get from the social media can put you into that situation. There's what they call cyberbullying that is also happening every now and then, that actually can even lead to that kind of a depression and anxiety, and of course can make you to be unhappy. Yet you want to be happy, that's why to end the social media, but you end up feeling more miserable. And like I said, it could be time wasting, it could be self-absorbing, that you too much engrossed into it that you don't get to see your environment. You don't become aware of people around you, and you don't even become your spouse. I know we have seen situations where people have even forgotten their children because they are busy on the social media. You don't want to get into that situation. And of course, again, many of us use social media as a security blanket. We think that's our safe place. But you will have to be more careful what I call info danger. Info danger. What is info danger? Info danger simply means the danger of information. And I think that's where we really need to pay attention to, because that's where our emotions are messed up, and that's where we actually become insecure ourselves. The information can excite us many times. You see what people are saying, people are cracking jokes, you are laughing, you are doing, which is okay. It's time for, it can relax you sometimes. Another time you see this information can make you depressed. And like I always say, somebody called me yesterday night and he was saying that, I hope no. Was it yesterday or this morning? I was saying, I hope you are okay. What we are hearing on the news that in Kenya is so terrible. What is it? And I said, what is that, man? And he said, that this corona thing is really, really serious in Kenya. And I laughed and I said, well, but it's serious everywhere in the world, but I don't see that seriousness the way you think it is. Our life goes on. We are still living our life. Of course, those who will be infected will be infected. Those who will die will die. Those who will recover. Those who will not actually be infected at all will not be infected. So, but that's the same way it is in every other place. But what do we do to that situation? Again, they just read from the internet. They are not even there. And many times, things like that happen. And then your family, they are panicking already because of the information they got on the internet, that something is happening. Maybe you are even in that place they say it's happening, and you look outside and actually you don't see anything happening, but they are crying at home that something terrible is happening. I'm not saying things don't happen, don't get me wrong, but the fact is that the information we pass can actually lead us into that level that we become so anxious, and of course can actually be so depressive that it can lead to something else. So not every information on the social media is correct and adequate. Again, recently I was reading about the Pan AM flight 914 that was flying from Douglas, DC, and then with about 57 passengers, they said, and 6 crew members that took off from New York City airport heading to Miami in Florida. And they said the date was June 2nd, 1955. And it was said that that flight disappeared only to reappear 35 or 37 years later. Can you imagine? Guess what? People believe it. People believe it. Or the president of Nigeria, Buhari, that people believe that he has died some years ago, that is a fake person that is acting as a president. How can somebody think that dumb? But people believe that, and it's on the social media. So you can imagine, but what you need to do is, you need to seek the truth. Those kind of information they're terrible. And it's not only in the case that we read them that way, people begin so agitated about the information that is not even correct. And they are not seeking. You are not seeking to know, is it true? And guess what? You can find out on the same internet if it is true or not. So when you are engaging in social media, like I said earlier, you need to be more careful. And again, I want to say to married couples or people in relationship at this time, the place to express your feeling is not to go on social media and be saying things you cannot say to your husband, or you cannot say to your wife, or cannot say to your boyfriend or to your girlfriend. You have start expressing your emotion there, and people begin to read that and start asking the other, what is the matter? What is whatever? No. We have to watch and be mindful of the way. So they say, info danger. We need to be very careful. So seek the truth. As Jesus himself said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. But so, if you want the truth to make you free, you need to seek after it. To know what is the truth. What is the truth? If you want to be happy, to be joyful, seek after truth. But don't just be overwhelmed with information that you don't even know. I don't do that. When I get that information, some people say I'm too skeptical, but that's not it. The fact is that I want to know. If I read, I want to know which news. Find out what is the source of the news. Which news is carrying it? And is it on the reputable sites, or just somebody's blog or somebody's personal radio station or TV station or YouTube channel or whatever? No, seek to know what is the source of the information before you begin to join others to share this same wrong information. You know, and of course, we know St. Paul says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 21, he said, not hold fast to what is good. He said, test everything. But test everything and hold fast to what is good. And when you begin to share, those are the information you should share. Many of us don't share good news. We share bad news. And when we share bad news, we cause sadness to people. You know, we cause hatred to people. We begin to use that opportunity to actually cause separation for people. But let us be the sharer of the good news, sharer of right information. The information, you know, I've done that many times when I see the information and I check whether it is true or if it's wrong. I will send back to them and say that this is wrong, this is actually what happened. Because there are many things that have happened 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. People still put back today as if it is happening now. What information? And when you put that out, guess what? It could be very terrible. And again, people have shared information that have made some people to commit suicide. Those are the negative effects. You see, and they affect us, not just our health, they affect our life. You don't want to go into depression because of what you are reading or going to become, suffering from anxiety because of what you are getting on the social media. They are very good, but let your happiness come from within. Again, pay attention to every information you get there. Those days are gone when we say pictures don't lie. Those days are gone when we believe almost everything. This day, you have to be careful to know exactly what you believe. It doesn't matter what the person calls himself, doctor, don't listen to that. I've seen people say they are doctors and they're talking about COVID, they're talking about coronavirus. They are not virologists, they're medical doctors practicing general medicine. And he's talking about virus. Come on, you should check. Because we like to buy, to sustain, to say we are an authority, or I'm an authority to talk in these areas. Again, social media is supposed to make us connect, but not to divide us. It's to make us feel okay, but not to make us feel bad. But all depends on how you interact with it. Once again, my name is Joseph Sekunjobi, Reverend Father, and this is Capuchin TV on this program, which we run every Thursday, 2:30 to 3, every Thursday, Eastern African Time.